hey, Boldy James like a 40-year-old man, but I still feel like I seen him grow up. Like, I remember somebody put me on to him for the first time, told me it was Chuck English from the Cool Kids Cousin. Listened to him, was like, all right. And that was it. I ain't think he was crazy. Definitely didn't think he turned into one of the best active rappers and probably the most consistent rapper in the Griselda clique that's completely taken over underground rap. I think he's probably having the best year out of the group, and that's saying a lot. I think a lot of Boldy's rise has to do with him working on these one producer projects. Of course, you got the Alchemist projects, but you also got the Sterling Tolls project, the joint with Craven from a month ago, and now he's working with the super talented Futurewave. I think with their talent, this has potential to be something really special. Let's get into it.
Jack guy.
I love the bass line on this already.
Can't swindle a swindler. Used to cut the cayenne with vinegar. Now I keep my traffic to a minimum. Brand new millennium cut tendencies. Lining up them big spenders. 500 or better. Got me racking up them strip tenders. Taxing for them fish dinners. Collecting the front end. Watching out for snitches who be having fair run-ins.
Cool. I really like how he set that fish dinners punch up, because he's talking about how he got the big spenders, the drug buyers, and then you know how fish dinners are expensive, fish scale. Come on, man.
It's different strokes, different folks on that dead end. Or when the street like
yeah, I see what he doing too. The different strokes, different folks. Fish dinner. He had a swimming line to start the verse. That's wordplay.
Come on, it's time to head in. Last one to take it in was trying to stay out. All night serving, little nigga, what your day brought? Walt Disney on ice, sliding with the click. Mickey Mouse on the chop.
That's tough. Nigga, that's tough. Slide with the click, Disney on ice, and then the next line's the Mickey Mouse drum, the 100-round drum, the Mickey Mouse shape 100-round drum. Come on, man.
Yeah, 200 racks in the duffel, keep the change in exchange for a bag full of
Look at the coke rappers with choruses. It's like extra credit.
All white ice from the glare, it may appear blue. I see a kind creature when I'm staring in my rear view. Airing out my new coupe, pairing up the Bluetooth, stumping for
this imagery is tough.
Moon boots.
If this nigga keep rapping like this gonna be a dope project. The imagery is just second to none. The second verse was really just a detailed play-by-play of him finishing a drug play, going to the club. Kind of borrows from that method that Westside Gun popularized, where you take the luxury talk and mix it with the drug talk. But Boldy here is coming off a lot grimier because it had that trap star feel to it. First verse was that as well, but it was littered with really slick wordplay too. I rock with the beat. You had a couple of really spacey synths and then a groovy bass line underneath it. I thought that was a dope song. This is Mortermir Milestone.
As sure as the sky's gray, as pure as the whitest yet. I pour like a 5 a day. Hey, you are what I buy my bay. Ignore bitches night and day.
This is a tough flow. It's a simple flow, but the way that he's stressing this 3-syllable rhyme scheme because of the cadence he's using is dope to me. And he's ripping off the 3-syllable rhyme scheme back to back. Like, there's very few syllables that aren't part of that rhyme scheme.
Used to send a bag with Camille till she got addicted, caught a hookup habit. When we was trafficking, fill in the blanks.
I like that.
Trying to reveal the bank. What else? Where we at with it? I'm from the real Detroit, not the town, Well, we ain't nothing like them boys from the Bronx. Thinking you can take what's mine and just make it yours. Doggy ain't his kind, ain't my type, they some label hoods. These cops need to use their tasers more. Yo, hit man, miss fam, like, why the fuck he pay you for it?
Waste some money.
Take him to the table more. If we knock down this big man, that's a major score. Yeah. Don't let me take this pain that's mine and make it yours.
I like that. Don't take this pain as mine and make it yours. It's like a play on, you know, that hurt people, but he's saying it more of a threatening way.
The mop stick, do my daily chores.
I heard mop, like 30 clip, and then mop flips, but I still think that's clever. Daily chores.
I'm from the real Detroit, not the town,
Yeah, the more I hear this combination between Futurewave and Boldy, the more I love it. It looks good on paper, but hearing it kind of sound better than expected, at least 2 songs in. That sax was just straight disrespectful, and that was a really textured beat. You had the Sims that was a perfect contrast to that sax, because the sax gives the song this lively and beautiful feel, and then the sim make it a little bit more eerie, that constant synth note. Something like Muggs, Derringer, Alchemist, they utilize a lot to give their beats that eerie feel. And then it was a really textured beat as well. You had these keys really in the background and hard to pick up on. I kind of heard them a little bit during the chorus, and they sounded smooth. Yeah, that's a tough beat. I like the two verses from Boldy James, especially that first verse. I thought they both were really grimy, really descriptive. I really like the flow and the cadence on that first verse, which make it my favorite verse of the song. That's another tough song. This is Smacked.
227 drugs on shit, 30 years of running, my nigga. Let's get it. Hey.
The drum patterns in the last two songs have been pretty complex for this lane of hip hop. They were real subtle on the first song, but I like the variety so far.
Dummy got finagled out of key, paid me 46. Finessed him out of 63. It was short to split. So the 50.
That nigga scamming.
To his mans, not a split was short. Caught a case over 50 grams, took his blick to court.
Bro, this nigga a hood mathlete.
Different vibe, different type of time. I'm the timer type, big time. VVS diamonds, I be shining bright.
I love the time wordplay.
Press them on consignment. Y'all fiends to my clients. Big money, heavyweight. Small things to a giant. Raw cleaning and some dubs. Me and Didi, we some thugs. Man, we're greedy for some grub.
It's a 5-syllable rhyme scheme right here. That's tough.
On the west, we make it Hurricane Hugo. The dirty drink Chulo. Timothy McVeigh, Mr. Murder Gang, Uno, all white meat turkey, but the purple came from Pluto. 30s on them yerkies, got me zerping, choking off the threats. Smoking, leaning, floating off a flat screen. Hide in a whiffle duster with no vaccine. Serving all the J's, pops, cluckers, and the smack fiends. With his hair, brick of Tony Kukoc. Can wake up everybody.
Yo,
Hell Melvin.
Futurewave is going crazy. These niggas gotta relax.
Blue note. Living on the edge, I cut it too close. Watch how they jump back on my dick when I put out this new dope. Fanta full of syrup in my cup. When I sit maple, current mood. We want all the blues like I'm Vince Staples. Been faithful to the game. I never cheated on her. Your girlfriend's a track runner. Yeah, she's a trotter. Trying to tie that thought down, I wouldn't even bother. Way she balanced my work on the scale and make it teeter-totter. Trap spot full of pies, this a piece of parlor. Eating 4 courses up at Morton's, I don't eat Carrabba's.
Oh, Futurewave is going crazy right now. You had a full-on beat change in that song, but it doesn't feel like a beat change because how you carefully shifted from the first beat to the other. But listen to that song again, the first beat on there and the second beat sound absolutely nothing alike. But he introduced each of those new elements, especially the synths, like at different intervals till it was something completely different. Boldy James went crazy with the punch in the first verse. Imagery still top tier. If I had to nitpick, I will say he had a couple of lines that I thought were a little like the balance and weight teeter-totter, the pies piece of parlor line. Like they don't suck. That's me being nitpicky. But that's what I do. I nitpick. It be like that. This is Dormin.
Straight from the block, Boldy get back on that one shit. Over the top, Dorm tell me balance outfit.
If this is the chorus, Boldy could have did this himself.
We'll really do that offset between you and I. It's been loyalty over respect.
Let's get it. It's 22-7. Fully blue press. He finally touched his first 20K with it.
He's rapping, man. That's a slanted 5-syllable rhyme scheme. These were non-existent when I first heard Boldy James. He's just morphed into a phenomenal rapper.
Probably see me in a couple flicks with a few fellas, or with a couple of my amigos down in New Galles. Don't make me cut the movie short, roll a few credits. Give them the double R rated, cut a new edit. Somebody.
Oh, I like to cut the movie short and then the double R. Ugh.
Ain't talking step for step, but we shoot like the Curry brothers. Gang time, mafia, what else? I got his jersey number, 2100, 227. We some overlords, make a nigga walk the plank, been on to take shit overboard. Two-stepping on the blow, but
like
still got on to yours. All the real trappers always welcome me with open doors.
Y'all might think I'm tripping. This whole beat didn't have this vibe, but that main synth sounded like something straight out of 90s West Coast rap. Like, take out the rest of the beat, just the main synth. You could easily put that in a song off like Snoop Dogg's Doggy Style, and it fit right in. But tough beat. Futurewave is synth heavy, and he's going for that spacey, ethereal feel. So I like that he's using diverse sounding synths. As far as the lyrics, the first verse was tough. The second verse, he kind of got away from the imagery. It was more all braggadocio. It was a step back from the other verse. It still had really dope rhyme schemes, I will say that. But the rhyme schemes with the imagery on the first verse that's been prevalent throughout the album made for another dope verse on that first verse. 2100 bags. I haven't heard of him before, but that's more proof. It ain't what you know, it's who you know. I guess Boldy putting his homie on. I'm assuming 2100 bags is from Detroit. But that was the lightest chorus on the whole song. Boldy's chorus on every other song had been better than that. I don't think it was a problem with his delivery. It was just the lyrics of it. This is My Double Trigger.
Blowing carbon fibers through my cardiac optics. We cornered the market. Got jars of exotic. My car is aquatic. AR in the closet. Non-trap star in the project.
I'm telling you, this nigga improved so much in a short time. Even on the Price of Tea in China, which might be my favorite Boldy's project, he just wasn't rapping on this level. Like, peep the flow, but he's rapping a 5-syllable rhyme scheme on top of it.
Modest, a couple open charges, some hollers stuck in a Raven. On Space Jam, Marvin and Martian. MJ dunking on John Starks in the garden. From Charlotte, how I feel to be the realest in it. But my brother ass, nothing like these stuck ass niggas suffering succotash. I'm from the struggle, long way.
He's been keeping this Looney Tunes thing going for a minute. I like it.
From the upper class, 10 pounds allowed in the duffel, got a double bag. And ain't no way out like that Bad Boy album cover. Cops coming through the hood trying to do more than case a nigga. Dropping off the bag, knocking off the tab. If the town too hot, get up and leave, had to 86 it. My bitch left me for the 10th time. She said I never spend time in me breaking her heart, I can't pay to fix it. But if I spent a lot of time in my misery and long nights, just
I could be slightly reaching, but that sounded like another really clever extended metaphor where he started with a drop a bag off, knock off a tab. Both are like entendres for money, like bag, money, tab, bill, tab. And then that played into the spend time, broke her heart, can't pay to fix it. I said I could be reaching. As I was explaining, I'm not reaching.
This romantic. Would that make your pussy wet or would you get upset when you finally realized that we was broke and we stranded, middle of nowhere, and all we have
Still got the money.
Would it be the same love between us? Yeah, I highly doubt it.
Man, that's a tough song. The second verse when he was going through that, describing that relationship that's falling apart, I thought that was sick. And then the beat from Futurewave, I thought it had the pure like bones for a dope beat, but the way that it was mixed together is flawless as well. I love that vocal sample. I love the synth. And then the way that he had the synth panning in and out of both ears made the whole beat sound disorienting. And then the way that he raised and lowered the levels of that vocal sample was dope. And even though it was pretty much the same loop from start to finish, because it had this panning from left to right and the levels going up and down, points to the beat, emphasized the guitar that was kind of in the background. It was just a sick beat. It sounds good sonically even on the first listen, but when you really start paying attention to it, there's just so many elements that's really well crafted. Really loving the production from Futurewave, really loving the rapping from Boldy. This is Disco Fever.
Posted up on that concrete, my feet firmly planted. Catch a body, spend the summer in Miami. Chop a switch on fully, keep a Glock in handy. My bitch pretty pink, pussy tastes like cotton candy. Where I ran that guap up, niggas think I'm scamming. Where I step in that wop, I damn near pulled the hand. Big pole behind tinsel like
stepped in that wop, I pulled a hammy. That's dope.
Remember posted on the Fink was serving out the Grandies. Last up and down breed, the trillest nigga standing.
It's a dope flow.
Underhanded, all my footwork fancy. Got tricky moves and I'm dancing, champs was made from chances.
I rarely get too technical with flows because it's just a mouthful to break down a particular flow and like for what, but I really like what he's doing here, so I'm gonna do it anyway. He had like 5 quick syllables and then he emphasized 2 and then 4 and then emphasized 2. So like, I don't know the real technical way to describe it, but I would say like a 5-syllable, 2-syllable, 4-syllable, 2-syllable swing. But I like how the rhyme schemes hit on all those 2s for the whole verse, and he switched it up a little bit, but the rhyme scheme fell in the same part of all the flows. Like it was all on the 2 syllables. So that's how you take a 2-syllable and make it even special. So y'all see why I don't get into the flows too much, because that was a mouthful to just they say that was a dope flow, but it was a dope flow.
Quick to get a nigga lifestyle, water in my veins, ice cold. 800 gram bust, Cuban 24 karat white gold. Old school running on turbo blue, but I'm burning nitros. With a bad bitch and all my ice on in front of Murder Maestro. Back then, hoes didn't want me, now nigga feel like Mike Jones.
Who?
So much ice up in Hutch, I'm the one who keep the lights on.
Oh, that song is sick. Futurewave is on another planet right now. I touched earlier how he's using a variety of different drums. He used 808s on this track. So it doesn't have the thumping 808s that we associate with like trap music, where those are 1000% 808 drums. They sounded great. And that's just a ridiculous contrast with, you had the bass line, the synths, and then that main sound, I think it was a synth, but it could have been a distorted instrument. Whatever it was, it sounded amazing. Boldy had 2 fire verses, dope flows. I especially like the flows on the first verse that I really broke down. That's a tough song, man. This is Could Be Worse.
Hey. They call me Rocky Rose over the.
Now the nigga got bongos. What is going on with this nigga? He is on one.
Yeah, pirate, dope in the Pyrex. Soon as I cut the pilot on time to turn up the tent. 600 degrees like that dreadhead from Hollygrove. Went from performing in kitchens live to rocking shows.
I like that 400 degrees, boy. That was a Cash Money Records flip.
They tipping on me, must have heard I got them bricks gone. Worker turning foreman, had to dump all of my flip phones. Cup full of poison, I'm the real Jim Jones. Me and Finn still on the hell in the fire and brimstone.
That Jim Jones bar is by a cup full of poison. He talking about codeine, lean. Play on the cyanide Kool-Aid from Jim Jones.
Cause when the going get tough, pick up and hit the road. Who the fuck can I trust? Who can I depend on? Bad bitch strapped down with a brick in her hair. Her ass looking saggy like she got the pins on. Had to make sure it was that before we sent to work.
That line's so stupid. That's fire, though.
In the Hicks Bogarting like your man's Humphrey. Loading up on coat-ons and jeans, we be pants hunting. Whipping up in Polar Springs, got them grams jumping, fam dumping 90 in 2 days. Got my hands cramped,
right here.
Through them Pee-wee long ways and them young legs. Ain't all that nigga diamonds blinding in the sun rays. Broad day it turn a nigga to a sun chip. A chipper nigga for my gang with them drumsticks. Leave a nigga mouth better than some fun dip. Shoot out a ton and pour an 8 up in the sun kit.
Bro, I don't know what it is, but maximalism just brings out the absolute best in Boldy James. It's up for debate, but I feel like Main Drum and Nichols was Boldy's best project up to this point. Every song on that project had 5, 6, 7 instruments. The beats were constantly changing, and it's more of the same on this project here. I mean, you got 2 sets of drums. You got a regular drum pattern, then you got these bongos playing. Then you got a bass line, these reverbed out pianos, chimes, a synth, and then every 8 bars or so, this really heavy, high-pitched synth comes in, and then most of those other elements go out when that synth is playing. More extremely good rapping from Boldy James. I especially like the wordplay that he had to end the second verse, where he got into that chip a nigga sun kiss, sun chip. He had some little fun dip wordplay in the middle of that too. Then on the chorus, the bricks in her pants like she got the pins on. That's a dope song. This is Flag on the Play.
Made it out skin of my tooth in a nigga time. I get ecstatic every time the juice hit my line. Silver lining on the Glock with the step ladder. Switch it to automatic, this bitch shoot like 50 times. It'll shatter your vests. Shell casings all on the scene, he scattered in panic. Let the spittle arm sling, head wrap in a bandage. For all this unpaid debts, that's collateral damage.
He's had a lot of subtle wordplay in this opening line. The unpaid debt, collateral damage, like you can put something up as collateral for a debt. Calling a ladder, the 30 clip, a step ladder is real subtle, but just dope phrasing. I'm gonna have to re-listen to the bar. I could be stretching here, but the silver lining on the Glock, that felt like it might be playing into the phrase like silver lining, like in the cloud silver lining.
Still quarterbacking plays on the east side. On the flat running routes like a screen pass. In the field, man down, flag on the play. Stand down cause I know that bag on the way. Watching out for the blitz from the weak side. Had to pull a couple skits from my peeps that.
Flag on the play, bag on the way, like the flag they throw the little yellow bean bag. That whole chorus is good wordplay.
Taking my fiends off down in KY Jelly, they call me Jack in the Beanstalk. Wish that my nigga Dale was here. For him I shed a tear. Pulled out a case of Moet and the fifth forever clear.
Hold on. I know he rich, but he said pour out a case? Pour out a case? You can't pour out a little bit? And he pouring out a whole fifth? R.I.P. but these niggas is wasteful.
Care. Niggas wasn't never there. Serving niggas on the silver platter, Mr. Belvedere. We went from piss poor to slumdog millionaire.
I like how the Belvedere line play into them waste and liquor line.
The town to the third, locking towns in the burbs. Ghetto version of the Rothschilds and the Bilderbergs.
Another tough song. More emphasis on the braggadocio on this song as opposed to a lot of the imagery on most of the album, but I still think it was dope, especially with all the wordplay that was sprinkled in. But even just his brags are really descriptive compared to other rappers in this lane. The beat here from Futurewave was a lot more simple than most of the beats on this album, but I think it's still just as good as the rest of the beats on this album. It was a soft, mellow, laid-back beat, but I like the synth, and then he had this, I can't tell if it was like this reverbed out and distorted piano. It kind of sounded like a harp a little bit. I thought that was dope. Good drums. This is Jam Master Jay.
Nice.
I think this is the same sample from Something to Rap About, the Alchemist produced track on Alfredo by Freddie Gibbs and Alchemist.
Way to work, wet double cup, full of Maybelline plate, looking like some shaving cream on the straight razor. Auntie being skin popping, RC a H-banger.
I like the
Auntie
shaving
got a
cream
stent
line.
in her heart
That's
on the
vivid.
pacemaker. Whip a key into a delicacy, I'm a tastemaker. Health hazard on front of my cup, it's a safe danger. What else? Auntie Debbie want a one-on-one. Pressing up the sketty, mixing Fetty with the bubble yum. Trying to double up, Uncle Eddie want a graham cracker. Trying to spend $100, then I gotta search in after. It's the king of rock, but they call me the jam master. Backseat of the color.
The king of rock, but they call me the jam master. That's fire. That's fire.
Hurt me to find out that he don't own his damn masters. I don't hit women, but I'm quick to let my hand slap them. Still on the one, I ain't talking about no Lancaster. Fuck it, let's shoot it out, see who open up the slam fast. Packers man like a Packers fan. I'm a head tapper, Grand Champ, Amtracker, 1008 Saran rapper.
I think lyrically that was one of the best songs by Boldy. The imagery was just so gritty, especially when he was talking about serving to his own family members on that first verse and then bleeding into the chorus. The king of rock line, that line was fire. And just so much clever wordplay sprinkled throughout both verses. The beat was dope. I'm familiar with that sample. I said that was something to rap about. I don't think that's it. I think it's the song with Rick Ross. I believe it's Scotty Beam off the top of my head. But it's something off that Alfredo album where I first heard that sample. And it sounded very similar to the beat, but like on acid. He threw on several different effects and I think he added another synth on top of the sample. Yeah, it's a sick sample. Let's close this thing out with Indivisible.
Die for my son, our kingdom come, that will be done. I'm still a blessing on this earth as I am in heaven. In disarray, give us this day our daily bread. Cutting up a quarter with the corner
These
of the
distorted
razor's
keys
edge.
are
Give our
crazy.
debtors and the trespassers who trespass against us, do just enough to tease you. Father of God, and I be goddamn, Lord. Don't let these streets eat me alive and swallow me. I'm just trying to fulfill the prophecy. Amen. Allah be a born, see divine equality. Father of God, bless. In all honesty, now will let me down.
Yo,
Sleep them arch.
Futurewave gotta relax, dog. At some point, enough is enough.
So the
Tough
key no harm
modulation.
bother me. If I should die for while awake and hear her of Islam, I pray the Lord my soul to take. Pray the Lord my soul to sleep. Big Blood Ricky, my Uncle Keith, Brody Marty, yeah, 22750. Gang time.
Man, Futurewave just decided to empty the clip on that one. We got a modulation in there, we got a beat change. All those beats were completely different, but the way that he transitioned from each beat was just flawless. I think the rapping was aight from Boldy James. I like what he was going for. I thought the execution was iffy. I thought the song was 70% just saying word for word from like different prayers and scriptures from the Bible. Towards the beginning, he was kind of mixing his own stuff in there, and it was kind of a cool scheme. I think he just needed a touch more creativity. Because he tried to go with that scheme, I don't think this song was as lyrical as the other ones. And then he repeated a lot too. It had a chorus in there, but even in the verses, he was repeating himself a good bit. But I kind of like the concept of the song. But overall, this thing is sick. I think this is Boldy James' best project of the year, and that's saying a lot. I already have a project in the top 20, 2 projects that are probably in the top 20 from him, and I think this tops all of them. I think this is arguably the best Griselda project or a project from a Griselda artist of the year, and that's saying a lot too. I think it's definitely up there with Tana Talk 4, Conway's album, and Rome Street's albums. The production was just phenomenal from start to finish. It was so out of the box. I love the maximalism, the diversity, how dynamic each beat was. I think it would be really easy to say that Futurewave was the star of the show here, but I thought Boldy James brought it as well. This was his best rapping of the year. His imagery was on point. The rhyme schemes were amazing from start to finish. And then his best bars as far as wordplay of the year. I think there's no low points on this album. I think Indivisible rap-wise probably was a notch below the rest of the songs, but I think it's elevated because of how good the production was. You know, I think there's definitely a couple of tracks that kind of stand out on first listen. Smacked, Disco Fever, Jam Master J, but no weak points. Overall, I think this is a fire project. My top 20 list of the year is in complete shambles with how many excellent projects have been released. But I think come the end of the year, this one's going to be pretty high.